Density. Okay. Don't question that shit. It's very important. It is surprisingly important, believe it or not.
I guess, yeah, that's the unofficial Joel's intro.
Welcome to episode 3. Wait, I didn't do the intro. Shit. Hello, everybody. My name is John Yakuza, and welcome to episode 3.
My God.
I'm not creative with these titles, man. Or with these intros. Whatever. We're on episode 3, motherfuckers. This is the episode that I didn't write, therefore dog shit. But, you know.
Oh, wow. I mean, you only wrote one episode, Joel.
I'm just saying episode 2 is really only the episode worth playing, but I mean, the other episodes, they're fine too, I guess. They're the other episodes, they're really just filler, but, you know.
Wow. Fucking wow. This guy. Get a load of this guy.
But yeah, welcome to episode 3. Hopefully it ain't gonna take so long, but we'll see.
We're probably gonna end up taking a long time.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah, so we're gonna review, or I guess commentate episode 3.
I don't think it'd be fair to review our own series, but...
a 10 out of 10 would play again.
Yes, it's true. So, for context, I think we talked about this in the other episodes, but I guess for a quick reminder, episode 3 was originally going to be episode 2, but because it would be really rushed, we decided to write episode 2, and then episode 3 became episode 3.
Not confusing at all.
Yes, no, not at all. Shit, I'm sure we could look back at, I know we have original timelines of, or original episode drafts, or summaries. I could look back on those, because thank God that we have all these group chats and shit that kind of wrap everything in a nice bow.
Originally this was going to be 10 episodes.
Yeah,
then we kind of kept bumping it up to 7.
Yeah, and well, it definitely BP would have been a whole lot of dog shit if it was 10 episodes. So I think we can start now.
Probably would have.
I can't remember what happened. I feel so bad. I don't remember what happens in a lot of these episodes by episode name. I'm sure you do because you wrote them. But
more or less.
Yeah, I know in episode 3, this is when Michael's like, man, fuck you guys. That's about it.
It's where the ball starts getting rolled.
Yeah.
Episode 2 plants those seeds, but episode 3, that's when you start seeing things
take into action. Yeah.
So,
alright, let's start. By the way, Altered wrote all these fucking episode titles. I think he...
Yeah, in collaboration with Spaghetto.
Yes. Here we go. This I'm gonna be real, I don't like this background. I don't like it.
This is kind of the only,
only
kind of school office.
Yeah,
thing
I feel you.
That,
it just, I think it just doesn't really fit the art style. I mean,
it's passable.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. It really feels like a stock image, if that makes sense. It's like the anime background equivalent of a stock image. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I mean, hey, if it works, it works. But yeah, it's I kind of wanted to find something that I think I actually found this one. I don't remember where I found it.
Probably.
But
I wasn't sent on too many background hunts. I think I was sent on the background hunt for a science room, but I think we ended up getting that one drawn.
Yeah, we ended up having Kyoryii do that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the school office one, yeah, I just kind of wanted something that's it's something to pass off as office, a front desk reception, and this kind of reminds me of the front desk office that I kind of was at my old high school. It was nicer than what you see, but kind of the layout is actually kind of similar to what I remember. The copier being in the back, there being
it's
side
just
wall, the front.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. I just now realized Shiro has a nose. I never paid. I'm so used to these characters having those little dots for noses. I just realized Shiro actually has an actual nose.
Yeah, or just an outline, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's I actually, come to think of it, yeah, I mean...
Shiro
might be the only one.
Yeah, I mean, Randy has that Squidward nose that we talked about, but Shiro, I'm pretty sure he is the only character with an actually drawn nose.
I believe that's right, so... yeah, basically this scene is just Michael signing up to join the anime club.
Welcome to the cult.
Really here, they just go into the whole thing with the fourth member. We're just kind of just again reference to the base game, which we've mentioned before.
I still find it so weird that people think that this would have been better as its own thing, considering how many references there are to base game DDLC. Because I feel if we would have ended up this being its own thing, then I feel people would have been a little like imagine that we, all the backgrounds, all the character sprites that are from DDLC, like the MC sprite is completely different.
We couldn't.
In a whole
Yeah,
different
we
context.
would have to like.
Yeah, and then there's all these dialogue references to these characters, like even having them have different names and all that. Like it would have been a little too uncanny. It would have been obvious that this was originally a DDLC mod.
I mean, we could have obviously, like referenced DLC or make subtle reference to it. I mean, fuck. I mean, even base DDLC makes reference to like other things.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah, of course.
Like with Dan, like specifically, in regards to Dan with his what was he like? He was like a Sonic modder or something like that. I think that
Smash Bros.
Stuck in the reference. Smash Bros. He is snuck in the Smash Bros. Reference during the whole
Monica dialogue thing in the space room.
Yeah, during Act 3. So
yeah,
so like if we were gonna write this like as our own story, like then like it would have been different.
That reminds me,
it very much is a mod just existing in DDLC.
Oh yeah, one of the splash title screens for original DDLC is Project M died for this, which is also a reference to that Smash Bros mod.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Also, it's Smash Bros Brawl. Thank God, bro. I fucking love Smash Bros Brawl.
I don't get the chance to play that too often. But like when I do, it's always a good time.
I had that shit on the original Wii back when I had my Wii. No, that was undoubtedly my most played Smash Bros game. It still is. I think Ultimate's cool and all. I just don't give a fuck.
That's here we're getting that's a deliberate reference. Right here we get an introduction into another character.
Oh yeah, this is
gonna be very important.
This is the one person of color character, I believe, too.
No, we have Connor.
Oh shit! Wait, I forget. Now this might sound a little bad. I can't remember if Victor is Mexican or if he's African American. He's Mexican, right?
He's Hispanic. We never really established like where he's exactly from. Like that's just something we never explored with this character. But
I remember having the whole combo when we were designing his character, though.
Yeah, because originally, I mean, like again, we wanted to have like characters of like skin color, just to have like some.
There's not a lot of diversity in the DDLC like community characters from what I've seen.
Yeah, so like I mean, I didn't want to like obviously just have diversity for the sake of diversity, but.
I mean, it makes more sense too. High schools, like high schools in general, they have all different. Like high schools, I think it's mainly a lot of African Americans and whites, but obviously there's a percentage of Asians. Why is every ethnicity leaving my mind currently? What Mexicans, that kind of shit. I don't know why.
I mean, my high school, I mean, was
it's more
really
realistic.
diverse as well, but
it's more realistic to have diversity in these kinds of mods too, especially when there's so many characters. It just makes sense.
Yeah, and that's really what we were going for. So, just Victor just being a fucking creep here.
Also, what the fuck? Victor had an original name. What was it? I forgot.
Yes, it was Caleb with a K.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Fucking white guy name.
Yeah, I mean, most of these characters had like white guy names. Victor, I mean,
well, we are Westerners, so I think the one thing that I kind of feel bad about being a DDLC modder is how fucking white I am. I mean, like Dan Salvato is also white. At least as far as I can tell, he's white.
So
we're all white. Don't get me wrong. There are people of color in the DDLC community. I can't name any by name because I don't know people in the DDLC community, but I'm sure there are.
Maybe he's one of the weird kids. Yeah, this is just again another personal reference. Is like just like I mean we all know that guy who just like stares in fucking face for whatever reason.
I think that people call me. I think people think I'm a weird kid because I still bring a mask to school. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like my face, so I think I remember this one time. I have art, and this guy came up to me. He's like, "Why the fuck do you still wear a mask?" And I'm just like, "I don't know." And then I pulled my mask off to show him my face. And I'm like, "It's no secret."
You just like rip off the mask and you're fucking Wayne.
That would be awesome, but
we could go a little bit into Victor's character. So Victor was originally gonna be called Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea was Victor's character did not exist in like the early drafts of the story. Originally, it was always just gonna be Kai and Rain.
Yeah.
However, as I was writing, I felt like it made sense to have other minor villain characters or minor antagonists to kind of give the sense that Kai is more of a powerful figure within the school like society,
Yeah.
and that it's just not just a nerd just solely relying on like just some random that he like talked into like doing shit for him.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
don't think are they on Kai's payroll? Does Kai pay them, or do they just do the shit that they do just for shits and giggles? When I mean, I'm sure there's some payment involved. I'm sure they're getting nickels and dimes.
Well, actually, funny enough, in the end of episode 1 during that post-credit scene,
oh yeah, he is shaking him down.
They were extorting a guy for payment.
Oh, yeah, that's
that
true.
they did, but I mean, working with Kai, I'll actually pause your monologue here. Like, I mean, when characters in the story like work with Kai, it's because it's like they have like a mutual agreement of some kind, or Kai is just forcing them.
Yeah, that's true.
With now, with the whole, there's like 4 characters. Well, there at one point like kind of like almost 5, but there's really 4. That really work with Kai, which is Randy, Victor, Bella, and Valerie.
Oh wait, Bella's kind of person of color, isn't she? Or she's just really tan. If she's the character I'm thinking of. I know that we have another really tan character.
Valerie, no, Valerie's wife. She just had a spray tan. That was by so. Yeah, like we'll talk more about Valerie's design when we meet her. But yeah, I mean, all those characters have like some sort of like agreement, and then the character Connor, who we'll meet later on, Kai was trying to kind of coerce him into working with him on something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the idea is that Kai, I mean, it kind of does fall into the trope that Kai is like this little evil mastermind having puppets around, like doing his bidding. And Victor is more, when I was like thinking of Victor's character, it was more, I mean, I kind of went back and forth on like why he was working for or working with Kai, and I kind of settled on this is not something I'm going to go too into because this might actually be a plot line we explore in a potential decide to do it, but it's more that Victor believes that Kai presents an opportunity to own mark on the school and kind of like be his own person and just kind of stand out that way, because Victor is kind of like by himself, like he's just kind of like just another snobby rich asshole that goes to school. Like he's kind of a prick, but like by himself he's pretty harmless, but but he, again, if he sees he's very opportunistic, and if he ever sees like an opportunity to like for him to put his thumb on the scale, he will absolutely do it. And so in the lore, which is in the mod, actually, he used to actually kind of harass Kai a little bit. Like, he was like one of like Kai's core mentors, but eventually, the two realize that, like, you and I are not so different from each other. Basically, that classic villain speech that
we both hate fat people.
Something like that. I mean, like most of the school does not like Shiro, and Victor character obviously would have no love for Shiro, so he wouldn't have any problems like bullying Shiro instead of Kai. But yeah, like again, Victor and Kai. Again, this is like kind of before the events of the show here, or the story rather. But like, I kind of canonically kind of view it like this kind of like was like kind of over the summer, but like kind of finalized like probably like around like the first day of school or whatever. That like they got to talking, realized that they kind of see eye to eye on a lot of things, so it made sense for them to like kind of have like a bit of a like kind of like a action. So
yeah,
I mean I wouldn't say that they're necessarily like these aren't the guys that would like say that they'd be like best friends with each other outside of school, but they're like, again, business.
I think the only person that Kai would actually talk to us at a school is Randy. I don't think he really cares about the other guys.
I would agree. I would agree with that too. I mean, obviously, like, I mean, it's not. I don't think I would say that Kai would like really hate Victor at this point. Like, if Victor was like kind of picky on him, it's like more. It's like, again, bygones are bygones. They'll just focus on the moment. But I wouldn't say that Kai and Victor, like, again, I wouldn't say they're like best friends. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, as you stated, they're just mutual acquaintances at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of the best to sum up their like personal relationship.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the only person that Kai actually gives a shit about is Randy at this point.
Yeah, and to what extent you believe that Kai like personally cares about Randy obviously can be debated. Like whether Kai was just like personally just using him for mean to an end, or maybe he actually saw him as like a one true friend. I mean, who knows? It's something. It's something to work. Some food for thought, I guess. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll go more into what the hell Kai and Rainy was. Maybe fuck buddies. I don't know. We'll think about it one day.
Oh god. Yeah, but yeah, back to more of what Victor's role is. So yeah, he is a minor supporting antagonist story. He's someone who occasionally pops up and is just a threat. And I kind of wanted him to be more like he's kind of like I wanted him to be like a middle ground between Kai and Randy. Like he has the creepiness aspect, but he's also like very intimidating. So like Randy, like he's like silent. He's kind of in the background, but like Kai, I mean, he's like menacing and he's someone you should take seriously. So Victor was kind of meant to be like the middle ground between those two.
Yeah.
And then also just speaking more to the large, more to like what his role in the story is. So originally, we were gonna actually kind of split up his role between a couple other characters. So one of the ideas I originally had, and this didn't go through, but we were gonna have Victor at the time being Caleb, and then there was gonna be another kind of lieutenant figure, like who was gonna be a female character, and like because I wanted to have the idea that Kai again has a wide network of support.
Wasn't that going to
who,
end up
like,
being his sister?
No. It's like I mean that's more of how do I want to say this? So, like the role of Kai's sister. I mean, granted,
No, not Kai's sister. Victor's sister.
Oh no, they're not.
Does Kai even have Does Kai have a sister? I don't remember his entire backstory.
So in the lore, Kai has an older brother and he has a younger sister.
Yeah.
But Victor does have a sister who, again, there is I think I'll point it out who she is when we get to that episode.
Yeah, it's never mentioned. I just realized that.
It's a very deliberate Easter egg that it's revealed. It's in episode 5, and then I think in episode 7 there's actually a direct reference to his sister. But Victor's sister is someone who's important within the school.
Yeah.
Which also that kind of feeds into like Victor's need to try to make his own impact because his sister is a big figure within the school, so he wants to try to outdo her. So there's like that sibling rivalry kind of aspect, which it's not really touched upon because again Victor is a minor character, but
he didn't really have much of a storyline.
Yeah, like
I mean,
again, he's
a
henchman in the story. That's really what it is. But no, the female role was just going to be what granted that like female lieutenant role, I guess you could say that basically kind of ended up being filled by Bella, but like originally it was going to be someone completely different.
Yeah,
just like kind of like just a female bully, basically.
Not enough.
But
again, there is no female bully in this series. I just realized that. Not enough diversity. We fucked up.
Well, I mean, again, you could argue Valerie fills that role, Bella fills that role, but Bella essentially filled that role. What I wanted to be, but originally, it was going to be another character in it to like kind of like to add on to the supporting cast of villains. So,
but then we realized we had too fucking many.
But yeah, Spaghetto didn't end up going for that, which I was a little disappointed. But because I had a very particular design in mind for her character, and it's been the design I wanted to use in some other sprites, but it just didn't happen.
Why is Michael's tie so much thicker in comparison to Shiro's?
I actually kind of noticed that now. I mean, Shiro is. I actually don't have an explanation. It's just art design. That's all I could.
I mean, it wasn't Shiro made by Kyoryii, so it is two different artists, so that would make sense.
I don't know who made Shiro. I know it's Habalop, but Habalop. I don't even know how to fucking say this guy's name. Habalaka. I'm just gonna call him Habalaka.
Sounds good.
Halabaka, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if he made it himself or he had someone do it, but
the art styles are very similar, so.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Stormblaze, who I know made. I mean, Storm, who made MC, and Kyoryii both have kind of. They mimic the DDLC art style really well.
Yeah, and that's why I had them recruited because again they matched the original DDLC style very well, and I was like,
so I'm I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, I don't know. Shiro has that Kyoryii look, if that makes sense. I could be completely wrong though.
I mean, if you told me Kyoryii made Shiro, I could believe you.
We could just
like,
ask.
I could be convinced.
We could just ask.
I mean, we could. True.
I'll message real quick. Hey, did you draw Shiro perchance? I'll ask.
Yeah. Let me because I'm actually curious myself.
I'll do it in the fucking group chat. We have a group chat with them. I'll just send it.
That sure we still do.
We have group chats with all of them. We never left. We left. Well, you left one of them. I'm still in it though. I don't know.
I don't remember which one it was, but
the one with the.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's really the whole story with Victor's character, and then this scene, like his debut is kind of like what the tone I was trying to strike with the character, which again he's scary in the background. Don't want to mess with him, and I just thought it would just be like a very good first impression for him to just kind of be in the background and just kind of staring at Michael.
Yeah.
Just like he's standing there menacing.
I think that's the only time we use those big fucking eye spray. At least I don't remember that sprite ever being in.
I think we use it a couple more times, but yeah, maybe. It's not used often.
There's no reason to. He does look horrifying, though. Why the fuck is his pupils like that? Also, I like how he just has money hanging out his pockets, like he doesn't expect anyone to just rob him.
Actually, I'll actually get into that. So yeah, that was a spaghetto idea, but also I was back kind of piggyback to
someone should rob him. That'd be really funny.
Originally, I had Victor's character in mind, being I wanted him to have darker skin. And I was kind of going for a darker skin Asian kind of thing, but then I guess maybe I don't know where exactly I was going with it personally.
I don't think
I had those in my. I just had that in my mind, and then eventually we just kind of gravitated towards him being Hispanic.
I don't think ethnicity really came into mind when we were designing characters, because there is no particular location. There is no particular there's names, but it's not really stated what country it's in. People, the obvious assumption is Japan, because that's where DDLC takes place, and obviously the girls are Asian. I'm assuming they're Japanese.
I always envisioned this story taking place in a kind of like a fictitious version of the United States, really.
Yeah, that's kind
of what I was going for.
Yeah, because it would make more sense and be a hell of a lot more convenient, because we're all Westerners. We don't know much about Asian culture and whatnot.
We're a bunch of uncultured swine.
Yeah, exactly. I think even original DDLC makes very few references to Asian culture. I know there's that one Mon Ika joke that Natsuki does, and I think that I'm sure there's more, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of it when it comes to references to actual Asian culture. So it would just be more convenient if this school just takes place in some fictitious country, because that, like I said, that would be a lot more convenient. Because Michael, I always assume Michael was just a white guy. Michael's just a fucking white guy.
Yeah, and he looks the part, but
yeah, true. But
yeah.
Ruby Kayla. I don't know. I imagine a lot of the characters just being Caucasian. I would assume.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, most of them. When I was designing them, just kind of just picturing characters in my head, probably 80%.
Yeah. There's just a lot of Caucasian characters, on top of the fact that since we live in America, we're around Caucasian people a lot, not Asian people.
Point out the money details. So yeah, this was an idea. This is. Well, I'm
talking about ranks a little too much. We're getting scary. This is getting into scary territory.
Yeah, so the money pocket idea was not my idea. It was the Ghetto's idea, and I will say I personally was not big on that idea because I thought it just kind of looked a little goofy. But I remember that Kai also had the breast pocket, so with Victor, it made sense that since he is a rich kid, I guess it made sense to do that and to show the money thing. But when I originally was writing his character, I didn't obviously envision him just flaunting cash like that. But I guess it does end up helping speak to his character that he's kind of he's kind of arrogant. He likes to show off because he's insecure at the end of the day. So it does. Oh gosh, it does. It's a detail that I didn't really like early on, but I think it helps more kind of back up his character now.
Yeah, it's small details like that just make it.
Yeah, and it ended up helping write one event in either this episode, which I actually just can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just, Michael was just like, oh, there's a weird standing here, and Shiro was like,
Yes. Branching
fuck with me,
Paths is
so.
my favorite psychological horror mod, and Victor is the bad guy.
Yeah, so.
Mr. Haha! Yeah!
Yeah, so,
Oh, yeah.
we actually get to introduce another
Mr.
character here called Mr. Zawinski.
Oh, boy, he's...
His
I don't
literature
think we
class.
ever tapped in. I don't think we ever tapped into the original ideas we had for this character because it would have been really. It would have been really controversial. Should I say it? Because I don't think we're ever gonna do it. Should I say what idea we had in mind for him?
I will say, even though the original ideas we had for him,
controversial to say the least.
Yeah, it was controversial. I mean, yeah, it was been up that alley.
I could think that we could definitely use it for a good. Because I think if there is one thing that
usable.
If there is one thing that we fumble upon when it comes to the branching path story, there isn't really a lesson to be learnt. I mean, there is the lesson to be learned of don't be an asshole, but the entire story of BP doesn't really have any kind of moral question or any kind of moral learnt. I mean, here and there, don't write fan fiction about your friends. That I think that's a given, though.
It's just more like, just like it kind of, actually kind of is summed up very well. Just don't be an asshole. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your friends. And,
and I mean that is overall is a very important moral. But at the same time, I think that's kind of a given.
I mean, like from a moral standpoint, like I wasn't like trying to answer like as a writer from a perspective here. Like I wasn't really trying to answer some deep moral dilemma question. It was just more. I kind of just wanted to showcase how relationships are always messy and complicated. And high school is a very tumultuous period within your life. I mean, you're going through it. I went through it not so long ago. I mean, it's just, and I just remember all the times where like I went through some challenging times with some friends of mine who our friendships were challenged, like whether it's through distance, some other drama or whatever. And I just kind of like we use those experiences kind of just move forward to write when I was like kind of mapping out Michael and Shiro's relationship and how that grows and develops over time, how Michael becomes friend Sam and all that. So I would try to go for a very realistic take on high school relationships, how it's like they're just kind of crazy and they're very up and down. And in this world of branching paths, I think that we did a very good job in showing that. But I will say I wasn't really trying to explore or answer any deep moral questions. And now, obviously, there's obviously the reader's interpretation, John's interpretation, and
at least we weren't attempting to do anything specific, but take the story as you will.
Yeah, that's actually very well put. Now, as far as Zawinski's character, again, I wasn't. Again, the 100% Spaghetto character. He was actually, I think, one of the first characters we got.
I just realized something that's an awful realization. Mr. Zawinski kind of looks like me if I didn't have a beard and if I was old.
Oh my god!
I'll pop up a picture of like really young me for a second without the beard and everything. I don't know. It could just be me. I see a very slight resemblance in that. I hate that.
Spaghetto. Spaghetto came up with the idea for his character and based this character off of a creepy art teacher that he had back in grade school.
I think that kind of summarizes what idea we had from originally that we're just not going to say directly. Because like I said, very controversial, and I'm kind of happy we didn't tap into that.
Yeah, I'll explore the a little bit here. I'll just do the talking on this. So, Zawinski is a character, again, that we had bigger plans for that just didn't pan out as we were writing for it, and I'm personally kind of glad that it panned out that way, because it would have been, not to say that, I mean, it's not that I would have been uncomfortable writing it, it's just, it's something that, like, I probably wouldn't write on my own volition.
Yeah, but on top of that, I think that there could be some actual lesson to be learned in terms of what we could have done. But when it comes to a character like what we had in mind, which like I said, we're not saying directly, but I think you can get a pretty good idea. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's Now, I will say, like, it has story potential, and I think there's a way to do it right.
Plus, it could just make audiences uncomfortable too. Not every audience wants to see that.
And yeah, there's that. I mean, and it is also an unfortunate aspect of reality of the public school system where I'll just say where we have teachers who take advantage of students.
Yes.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And I will say the idea explored into that and went into kind of that territory, which I was not sold on that idea particularly well. It did involve a couple. It did involve, there was that aspect plus everything else going on that it would have been hard to kind of just like coordinate all that and get that to flow properly. And we had a couple ideas like that, which were not of like that serious discussing nature, but like just ideas that we just couldn't fit in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously this is one of the ideas where like I mean, there's a couple of the ideas I go like I really wish that we could have squeezed it in somehow, but it just didn't do it. It's just for the best that it didn't. This is an idea that I'm happy that it did. So
yeah.
And there was obviously some stuff that within the story that I was like very nervous about writing, and obviously I was able to do it my own way and do it properly, and ultimately it made it into such a way that it ended up working fine. So
yeah,
which we'll go into at the end. That's more of a second arc thing, which we'll get into.
True.
But yeah, I will say Spaghetto really surprised me with some of his ideas. Like, I did not think that guy could. They
were interesting to say the least. He had a lot of interesting ideas, but I think the main problem is not all of it could really fit in one story. Like if we wanted to do everything that Spaghetto wanted to do and also make the story good in the process, we would have done a hell of a lot more than just 17 episodes.
Yeah, we would have had to. And originally, keep in mind the idea was to do this all within 10 episodes. So
yeah, so we branched out way more than we thought we would to begin with.
Yeah.
Also, where the fuck did the Zawinski name come from? That is the goofiest fucking name of all time.
I think Spaghetto actually that.
I have no clue. His name sounds like Jew. Is he Jewish?
I ended up making his character Jewish, but
what the fuck?
Okay, so look, I'm not.
As a member of the Jewish community, I hate you.
I will say, like, I'm not trying. The idea of the goal of. I mean, here's the thing. It's like,
oh my god, I didn't even realize that. That would have been really bad.
Yeah, I
didn't even realize that.
I was about to say, like, okay, so yes, canonically his character is Jewish, and that's just more of like kind of just a diversity thing that I went to, but like. Again, with what his character is, I'm not trying to lean into some anti-Semitic garbage. I'm not that kind of person.
You better not be.
I'm not. I can promise you that. But,
do you know who I am? I am John Jew.
Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, his religion is like not even stated within the story.
No.
That's just more like expanded lore. That's like. Yeah, like,
I mean, he has the look of a Jewish person too. So
it's just his ethnic background. Like, I think when we were making his character, I mean, we did not make that consideration.
Like, there's a lot of lore that goes into these characters that we rewrote out. We just didn't put in the story. So hopefully, if we do,
the only reason you guys would even know about it is just
because us. Yeah, it's because of us. I mean, we did have. I think I mentioned this before. We Ultra did have the idea of making a fan wiki for BP that like kind of goes into more detail about the characters and whatnot, and that would be official, so it is all canon. But we'll know if we don't know if we'll get to that. We're lazy as shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, the idea is that Zawinski was going to have a bigger part and he was going to be an antagonist in the story, but it just didn't pan out that way. But
plus, it would be kind of weird for teachers to be meddling in with student drama. Like, I think the best way that we did this was with Mr. Hara and him kind of being a moral compass at times.
Yeah, or just like just like kind of cameo level appearances with him and Mr. White, and then Zawinski obviously he kind of has his moment as well, which I mean obviously he's a character that obviously he's not a character like it's also just going to show that, like, not all teachers are good, not all authority figures are good.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Again,
Oh God,
I'm not trying to push any kind of message or anything like that with his character.
It's just true. Like, realism was kind of important when we were writing BP on top. I mean, there are some really fucking goofy moments in the story, don't get us wrong. But
it's also an anime. It's an anime mod. There's gonna be goofy aspects.
Oh yeah, definitely. The whole revenge porn plot. I cannot wait to talk about that one. But
and that was another all spaghetti idea, which we'll talk about when we get to.
Yeah, but it's definitely important to actually tap into some realism. It's because because as Ultra said, not all authority figures. Some of them are just assholes.
Yeah, or some of them like have very, very questionable motives, and Mr. Zwinski's a character who has very, very questionable motives.
Well, if we wrote out what we wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like, there's stuff hinted throughout sprinkled in the story that if you pay attention and just see how he interacts with the other students, like, you could tell that he's not a guy to be trusted. So,
yeah,
I mean, with how he interacts with Charlotte, with how he's with Victor and Randy,
Victor. There's that scene.
And that's actually like moments that like I also had to kind of create for him, because outside of this episode, he wasn't really used too much after the fact.
We had sprites for the guy, so we had to make our money's worth.
Yeah, and like again, I don't want to leave a character ever like left out. Like, even if it's a character that we're not going to see that often, I at least want them to, like, when you see them on screen, it's going to be a impactful moment, even if they're not like
except for my boy Charlie.
Yeah, great.
Savior of the series.
That was more. I think that was more of a running, just a bit of an inside joke.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe he'll make an on-screen appearance one day. Who knows?
Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of the whole gist with Mr. Zwinski, the really creepy. So that's basically how I can sum up how he is.
Yeah.
A really creepy teacher.
Yes.
So
yeah. Should have made him creep towards the dudes.
Does everything have to be gay with you?
I'm very gay, if that makes you feel any better.
It makes me flattered.
No, I'm not you, buddy. Not you. Go sit down. Go sit down.
So, and then, so this episode actually introduces, like, a lot of characters.
Oh, yeah, this fucker. One of the most morally weird characters in the series. And also becomes a cuck.
And then also, we get to introduce one of the DDLC girls as well, which I figured when I was writing this episode, it's like, we gotta introduce the girls at some point, so we kind of took the approach that we were gonna introduce them one by one.
Yes. And this one we did.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, Natsuki has already been mentioned, even by name.
And shown. Directly. And shown. She was shown in the BG.
Yes. So... Yeah, so the idea, so describing them was kind of fun. Like, I didn't want to say that it was the girl we're about to see, and obviously describing Adrian, who is a character. So yeah, lo and behold, surprise, surprise, it's Monica.
Adrian is adding into diversity, goth characters, because fuck it.
Yeah, I'll talk about Adrian here. So okay.
Yeah, this I wasn't a part of. I still like how weirdly gray his skin is. What is the fucking why?
Okay, so he's pale. That's like he's just really pale, kind of a ghostly figure.
Did you ever hear about that Homestuck story about the girl that was in a hotel with like people she didn't know, and then she filled the hotel's bath up with, if I recall correctly, alcohol, like rubbing alcohol and Sharpie ink, and then put herself in that to dye her skin gray for a Homestuck cosplay.
I did not hear that, but now that you mentioned that, on a somewhat related note, I actually had a really good friend in high school who was really into Homestuck and dressed up as a character, and she did a pretty good job of it.
I never got into Homestuck. There's way too many weird fucking people in that community.
I never got into it.
I can imagine Adrian being a major Homestuck fan, considering he's cosplaying their skin tone 24/7.
Yeah, but yeah, the idea with Adrian's at least skin tone, that he's just very pale. So yeah, Adrian's character, I have a lot to say about his backstory, how he came to be. So obviously this is revealing early on, but Adrian is Yuri's boyfriend in the story, at least for time.
Was Adrian written specifically to be Yuri's boyfriend? Because this seems oddly convenient.
So, okay. So what his character is changed. So originally, and we'll throw up like an original sprite for what he was supposed to be, but originally the idea for his character was that he was going to be this Irish kid who was like kind of like a transfer, like he was an exchange student, I believe. Like he was an Irish exchange student who was dating Yuri. And
we have a lot of diversity. Why the fuck? We have like one of every ethnicity in these fucking series at this point. Or, well, we did.
That was the idea Spaghetto and I had of the time. Spaghetto was the one who actually originally created the character, I believe. We didn't have like a name set for him or anything, but the idea was that Yuri would have a boyfriend, and that relationship would end, and that's how Shiro has his whole arc. Then, so yeah, originally, it was gonna be like we had this kind of ugly sprite for the character and had like too many expressions. I think we literally just had one, and I was like looking at it thinking like, how the fuck are we gonna make that one?
Yeah,
like, there was one sprite just like the whole time, just an emotionless fucking stare.
There was quite a lot of characters that we just straight up like we had sprites, but they were awful. I popped them up in the first and second episode, at least assuming I did. I haven't even started editing episode 2. But there was quite a few characters that I had sprites. And don't get us wrong, the sprites were all right, but not only did they not really fit the DDLC art style and whatever, some of them just didn't have good sprite lists, and they kind of sucked ass. So we had to make our own. That's why there's so many original sprites. And hopefully if we ever do Season 2, we will not drop as much money as we did in this season.
Yes, it was a very big investment, I'll say.
For Ultra? Ultra,
yes.
I think it was mostly Ultra who paid for it. I think Spaghetto, he paid a bit. He paid a couple $100.
Spaghetto paid me back on some stuff that he was asked to. Originally, how Spaghetto and I did like the sprite cost, it was 50-50, and we did that for a time, and then eventually we stopped for it eventually just became me, and I don't want to go much into all that, but eventually I kind of just basically self-funded the project.
But
Spaghetto did pay me, but originally how it would work is just like how the situation is that I would pay the full upfront price, and Spaghetto would reimburse me for half, and that was the arrangement we had until,
But we got Adrian.
So that's that. But back to Adrian.
I think one minor detail I like about all the characters is their ties. All their ties are really different.
Yeah, I'll dive into that second. But yeah, so Adrian's character, like I said, he was going to be Yuri's boyfriend, and Spaghetto originally. Well, at this point of time, he is. But. Yeah, so, again, when we were, doing our original drafts of the series, and then we were just kind of just weeding down ideas, and Spaghetto originally wanted to cut Adrian's character. And I actually fought him on that, and ended up winning.
You shouldn't say cut to an emo character.
Stop. Gosh, you're gonna make me lose my train of thought, man, but... originally, Spaghetto didn't want, Spaghetto had the idea for Adrian's character, then kind of changed his mind, and I talked him into keeping his character. And, we originally kind of agreed that it's we'll put him in the story for now, just to see if it works out. If it doesn't work, we'll come out. And I was like, okay, that's fair. And I then wrote episode 3, I showed him the script for it, and he ended up liking the script and what his character was, I made a very strong impression for the character and made a good case for him to Spaghetto, and Spaghetto agreed. So so I saved Adrian's character.
So and then Adrian becomes a little cuck baby bitch at the end, and he'll love to see it. I guess.
But obviously
Adrian is also one of those morally gray characters. I'd say, just like a skin. I'm gonna be so real. I didn't mean to make that. I didn't mean to. I'm gonna be so fucking. Don't say cut to a goth character, but
I can't help it. It's like second nature.
Yeah, true. But I did. By the way, I did not mean to make that joke just to be a completely skin joke. I actually had that. I had that fucking the moral gray thing in line, and then I was like, hey, wait, I have a really funny joke to go with this one. But yeah, Adrian's character, I mean, I wouldn't say he's one of the most interesting characters. Like, I don't think Adrian is anyone's favorite character by any means, but I do think that he adds some real good drama to the series, especially between the whole weird love triangle that is Shiro,
he was actually
and Adrian.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite characters to write for. Actually,
yeah, like I had a fun time. Yeah, he's not he's important to the Shiro arc. But in the whole, I mean, he does help in terms of like in the whole grand scheme of things. He does help, but he more shines during the whole Shiro arc that happens, which is like what the
I mean, yeah, I can understand why like people wouldn't personally like him, and and the idea is that Adrian, like, and I think it speaks to his whole character that he's a very polarizing kind of person.
He's kind of self-centered.
You're gonna either like the guy or you're not, and like that was like, on purpose.
I mean, Adrian is kind of that one self-centered. He's kind of self-centered in a way. Like he cares about Yuri, but then when Yuri's taken away from him, he's like, okay, well, fuck y'all. I have to censor that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I leaned into that, that whole edgy kind of character, and I made him be that way.
And it also made him smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. So. On Adrian's personality, so past the whole idea that, foreign exchange student that was going to be Yuri's boyfriend, that would leave and then have Shiro, like, his whole arc with Yuri, we didn't really have anything else in mind for Adrian, so he was essentially a blank slate, so we did end up cutting the whole idea of him being, like, this Irish foreign exchange student, and I just kind of came up with the idea that he is this emo, edgy kind of character. And
what a change! What a change!
Yeah, very drastic change. I mean, we could have still made him Irish at the end of the day if I really wanted to, but I was like, nah,
it don't matter.
I'm not gonna lean into that. But
my bad.
Actually, can you pause? I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
I'll just edit it out. Wait, you were talking about Shit, now I lost my train of thought.
We definitely did not have to restart the entire recording so I could look back at what we were talking about. Nope, not at all.
Alright, so on Adrian's personality, so originally, again, we didn't have much of a plan for his character other than, him just being this Irish foreign exchange student, blue hair, that would just, date Yuri for a time, bounce, then Shiro have his whole arc with Yuri.
But that would have just sucked to have as a character, because that's just really one note.
Yeah, and I don't really like having one note characters if I can avoid it. So I leaned into this whole idea of I kind of thought about what would be the kind of person that Yuri would date, aside from self-insert protagonist MC.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of figured that Yuri would like someone who is more kind of a darker, deeper, maybe a little bit edgier, no knife pun intended there, kind of character who, like, at least on the surface seems mature. And I kind of thought about, like, okay, so if that character was to date date Yuri, they would kind of have to be kind of like that. And I kind of got the idea in my head that they'd kind of be like this emo character. So so that's how, like, Adrian's personality and looks eventually.
My headcanon of how they met is it's canon that Yuri has online friends. I think that's said in DDLC Plus.
Yeah,
so I like to think that Yuri and Adrian accidentally met online with some stupid fucking alias, and they realized, hey, we go to the same school. What the fuck?
Actually, this explored how they got together.
Is it?
It was through. Yeah, towards the end of the story, but yeah, they had the same. Yeah, they were like in the same class, and they always kind of like just like looking at each other. Yeah, obviously they knew of each other, so they at least kind of had an idea of who they were, and then they just kind of just took them. Yeah, so it was very fun. I actually had a lot of fun like writing Adrian's character mannerisms. Like, I actually kind of based it off of one of my friends too. I wouldn't necessarily say he's emo, but he kind of has like this kind of like edge to him,
and that friend is me.
Like, he's like, it's actually not you, sorry, Aww. Joel. It's one of my personal friends here. Like, yeah, he kind of has this edge. He's kind of like, not necessarily like in your face, because he likes to kind of stick to himself, but like he kind of is like, he's not afraid to like say what's on his mind. It's very
real as hell.
tell it like it is.
That's real as hell.
So yeah, I kind of
That's real as hell.
Yeah, so that's like kind of like what I use as a kind of like a reference for writing for Adrian. So yeah, like basically, I just to summarize again, I just thought about like what would be the kind of guy that Yuri would like at least be attracted to, and yeah, and then Adrian's personality and looks took place. So obviously, with him being kind of like the emo kind of character, obviously the shaggy hair, the popped up collar, then like the messy tie, just like someone who just doesn't really like care about his appearance all that much.
So real.
So yeah, which again, which also I think helps him stand out. Like also pale skin, the yellow eyes. So yeah, I had a very fun time writing his character. I had a very fun time designing him. Like I would say, like honestly, I know we said earlier that like like we would have a hard time like saying like if anyone's favorite character is Adrian, but I will say he's probably one of my favorites to at least write.
That don't count.
I'm counting it.
Fuck you.
Yeah. So basically, Michael approaches them kind of the same approach to Michael, like just kind of.
If Michael was me, I would just straight up not.
Shit.
If Michael was me, I straight up would just not approach anyone. I'm doing this shit myself. Anytime my school ever does, or anytime one of my teachers do some kind of like collaborative assignment, I just don't join anyone. I get yelled at it for a lot too. I get every single time. I always get yelled at, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. It's 6 a.m. I'm not working with someone.
Yeah, I usually didn't mind group work. I actually kind of prefer group work because I didn't want to have to do shit all myself. So having a group.
My thing is about school is I'm really fucking stupid. So if I ever have to do a group work, I feel I'm the outlier because they're all saying answers and shit, and I'm like, yes, Jesus Christ.
It's just the appearance of participating that is what's helpful. And then this is like the subtle hint that Adrian and Yuri are an item. It's right here, the purple heart. So that was a very deliberate hint that Adrian and Yuri are together. And this is also the first time, I believe, that we actually get to see Adrian smile. So, okay. Yeah, I will have to try to think of stuff to say. So, yeah, and then just Michael's reaction is like, how the fuck is this guy? Relationship, like the fucking emo, like doesn't care about anything, like he has a girlfriend and me, Mr. Generic Protagonist, doesn't. Like, how could this be? But
I take offense as an emo.
But yeah, I mean, in high school we see just in life in general, we see like people of all walks of life would like at least on the surface be polar opposites, end up being actually quite healthy and happy relationships. And not my place to judge those people, but yeah, it's just kind of like, again, another thing that I took from example from the real world to just have it on screen, bring to life the story and see how it operates within the story. So yeah, but basically this whole scene is just that Michael, Monica, and Adrian are just doing group work, but we do get to learn a little bit more about another character, which in this case being Shiro. And the point of this whole episode, actually, of episode 3, was that it was planting the seeds for Michael's and Shiro's relationship to eventually disintegrate, and Michael leaving the anime club. And this is how it like originally, again, this would have established everything, but then we had episode 2, which episode 2 took the role of like establishing the notion that Shiro's not exactly a person you maybe want to be around, because we got to see him in the classroom in episode 2 with him being kind of a snobby know-it-all, and just like how like people just like have a hard time like standing him. And in episode 3 at this point kind of just like reinforces that notion. And Michael also uses this as an opportunity to learn about Shiro, because again, he's the new kid to school, nobody knows who he is, and chances are most people probably doesn't even know that like he's been hanging around them. So he kind of uses this as the opportunity to try to see if he can learn stuff about Shiro, about like, are all these rumors actually true? And this was also very fun to kind of like hint at that it was Monica who was the victim of all this, just judging by her reaction, which was, again, this is all deliberate. Well, one of the things I like to do as well throughout the whole story is just like make all these character expressions and all that be very deliberate. And it's all, again, it's nothing I did in this story. Like everything was like planned and very initial. There's not a detail that I didn't at least try to consider. Sometimes, yeah, there's like stuff that like just kind of unintentional prove to be like kind of like like a major part in the story. But like for the most part, I like to try to play ahead for these things, and just to try to make sure that like this is a detail like hey you should pay attention to. So
This pizza's good as shit.
You got pizza?
Yeah, right. It's cold.
Nice.
I love cold pizza.
I prefer mine hot. Did you like get Domino's or something?
Hell no, fuck Domino's.
Damn. And here I am liking Domino's.
Little Caesar's words, that motherfucker.
So, yeah, this is where Michael takes the opportunity to try to learn.
Just fucking spamming your keyboard, I heard that.
Yeah, just pressing on my spacebar right here.
I'm fucking spamming it like you're going. Oh shit, I should not talk with my mouth open. That was funny. He doesn't shut up. Oh yeah, this is the once an episode shit talk Shiro moment.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier about like how Michael uses the whole episode and scene to learn more about Shiro and just see like is this like who Shiro truly is, and that how he's not someone that like maybe you want to hang around.
I think they're just fat phobic. What the fuck is that from?
Yeah, so this is another like kind of like detail that like I was using to foreshadow, and I ended up actually going back and adding this in. Originally, it was like Adrian was gonna they're talking about Kai here, like about like how like yeah Kai's annoying, but like he's like kind of harmless basically, at least how the characters originally saw him at the time. And Adrian makes kind of like a the sound that you make when you like you kind of like have like the gesture of like sliding someone's throat, like that kind of sound. Originally, Adrian was making that, but then I decided to use the opportunity to foreshadow what's going to happen to Kai.
And then
so in reference to like when Kai gets like every now and then he gets a little sloppy, and when he does, Adrian imitates grabbing onto someone as he makes a bone-crushing sound.
I like to think he just punches Monica in the fucking face.
that would have been funny, and like Michael's reaction to that would have been fucking priceless.
What the?
Huh? Yeah, but like this was like foreshadowing, a very cheeky way of me foreshadowing Kai's eventual. So
you spoiled it, you bastard.
I mean, but chances are, if you're watching this, you probably already know what happened.
I hope so. I mean, I'm gonna put a spoiler disclaimer, but I think that's obvious. I fucking hope so.
Yeah, and the idea as well, obviously, since Adrian knows then he obviously knows Sayori, Monica, and Natsuki.
Oh yeah, doesn't Adrian spend time in the literature club technically? Even though he's not really he's
from time to time. He's not. Like again, he's not like a frequent figure. Like he's like a floater. He floats in, out, just to hang out.
What the fuck was that, Delilah? That's what's wrong.
I can't forget.
Yeah, and then Adrian just being fucking the edgy as shit.
Oh yes, he definitely likes black metal. Actually, fuck it, he does. That's canon now. Adrian likes black metal. Fuck you. I don't care what Ultra says. It's canon.
I could actually believe that.
You know what black metal is? Good to know.
Yeah, and also I think this was the U line too.
Like, yes, it was. Oh, yeah.
Adrian
wait.
Calls Michael.
Oh wait, the Michelangelo one was me. I think the Mikey one was, if I recall, the Mikey one was you, and then I added in the Michelangelo one. And then I added in...
Might have been.
And then yeah, that was me. I remember that. I think, like, once an episode I add in some random... I think once an episode I add in at least 1 or 2 lines of just comedic dialogue. I think so.
Yeah, and also just to show that Adrian is... It's also, I think, helps show that Adrian is not just entirely depressing, edgy 24/7. He does have a lighter side, which it doesn't come out often, but when he does, it's pretty funny, so... I mean, he has to have some charisma to him.
He has to have some of that riz. Bringing it back to 2021.
But yeah, and also it's an opportunity for Michael to the whole scene as well to like branch out and meet new people.
It's his opportunity to what?
Monica, to meet new people.
To what? He said it. He said the thing.
So yeah, I mean Monica, who was obviously Michael and Monica, like obviously they have I would say a cordial relationship, and Adrian is just like I don't really vibe with you like that, man. Which But and then this is where we were talking about with Mr. Zawinski's character, the whole
Oh, I
creepiness
remember this
aspect.
scene.
I forgot that we actually had something that kind of alluded to the whole.
So originally we were gonna kind of go for that idea, but yeah, like we kind of had to at least like set the stage for it. Like for like if we were actually gonna do it, then it's there, and if not, it could just be written off to like being. It's like, yeah, this guy is creepy and we shouldn't trust him, which it serves both.
Oh yeah, send the one girl out of the group with two guys.
yeah. So just
I don't think everyone. I've never heard anyone catch on to this though, of the whole him being kind of weird thing. Like I never heard anyone talk about it, at least. Not that I remember. Like I've read a lot of what people have said about the series. Zawinski never came up in general, which I mean, that's kind of fair. He's not like a major character or anything, but no one ever mentioned anything that he did. Which I mean, he's that minor antagonist, so there's not like a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like, oh shit,
I mean, he's like the most minor antagonist we get.
Yeah, probably, but yeah, like this is like I would say, even though Zawinski didn't like make a huge impact on the story at the end of the day, and I probably why like kind of like don't talk about him too much because kind of
he's not really memorable. Yeah, he's not really memorable.
Yeah, but like I would say in the whole story of Branching Paths again, which we haven't decided like to like how to what extent if we want to like expand upon the story or not. But like if we end up expanding more, Zawinski would be a character where we would see more from, and if we decide to, however we decide to do it, then this is like a moment that like people should probably go back to and revisit just to like and so that they can connect the dots.
If we do a season 2, then we should. I think it would be a little fair to tap into some more of the. But
yeah,
the
I
drama.
mean, just like but just like you could just feel the grime come off this guy, which is like that's just like how he talks, all that. Which again, this is all and even like Adrian Michael are like, I don't really vibe with this guy, and Monica, like, even though she won't admit herself, she's like, like all these characters are like, I don't know if I really vibe with this guy, basically.
I would hope not. Oh, here we go, Adrian.
Yeah, then Michael has a little one-on-one with Adrian, just asking him about Shiro.
Yeah, Shiro, he's kind of fat, all right. Hate to break it to you. I know.
Yeah,
big shocker.
This was a funny line. I think this is also you.
Maybe.
Or maybe Spaghetto came up with this one.
It's one of us. I think I remember writing a lot of lines. If I did write this one, I don't remember. I like to think Adrian is a little misogynistic. I mean, that kind of alludes to it a little bit.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's misogynist.
I mean, his type of character would be the type to be at least a little, or at least make references that sound.
Maybe some incel tendency in there, but
he's a goth. He probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a redditor alongside Shiro.
He has like a Reddit burner account. Like he's the kind of guy that doesn't admit he has Reddit, but has.
He's the kind of guy that say that he hates Redditors, but is one in secret. It's his fucking alter ego, his secret identity, like Peter Parker to Spider-Man. He's a fucking Reddit hentai role player at night.
Yeah, so this is a scene that I actually went back after some point and adding. So, yeah, so I wanted to have an extra scene for Randy, and Sam for Randy to kind of like set like the stage for what his character arc is going to be, and just like kind of explore the dynamic between like, is Randy like this because he's a jackass, or is like he like this because he's around Kai and Kai?
Did I code this scene?
No, actually,
I was about to say I have no recollection of this scene.
I went back, like, I think before we released the first arc, I went back and
Yeah, I'm about to say I have no recollection of what's about to happen. You're gonna get the fucking the Joel experience. What the hell is this? The blind reaction. What the fuck?
Yeah, so obviously, I wrote this so I know what's happening. But yeah, so like I said, it's like with what Randy's character arc is, like I kind of felt like as I was writing the whole thing that it felt a little jarring that he like kind of turned like a new leaf like that quick. So I kind of wanted to have at least a moment earlier on in the story to where it's like, hey, maybe Randy's not actually all that bad, and maybe it's just Kai acting as like kind of a bad influence on kind of deal.
Yeah.
And you'll see in his reaction here that when Michael bumps into Randy, he's like, it's like, whatever.
He's here.
Yeah, like he doesn't mind, and like, it's like he's like to talk to him like it's like, fuck are you again? Yeah, and also originally again this whole scene was not an script.
Yeah, like I said, I have no recollection of this. This is the first time I've ever seen this scene.
Yeah, so Kai and Randy like make their first well, I mean, not their first debut, but like at least like they were in episode 2, so like this is the first time we see them since the first episode.
Yeah, they don't matter in episode 2. They're irrelevant characters.
Yeah, so then this is like Randy doesn't really like recognize Michael, and Kai obviously.
I like to think they do the song and dance like every other day, so Randy just forgets them all.
Yeah, it's like we fuck with so many people, they all look the same.
Racism. Too many white people in the school.
Yeah, and then Kai's just just giving grief. That's like, how dare you fucking run into us? Like, how dare you?
I mean, to be fair, Randy is like twice the size of Michael.
Yeah, that's true.
These, I don't know if I mean, height wise, sure. Randy is probably 12'3". Jump scare. Ooh.
Yeah. So.
Also, I found one sprite of Sam without her glasses. That shit was so scary. It was
you got thrown out on screen.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, it was like original line art of Sam. Without her glasses, that shit was scary.
Yeah, again, like, it felt like there wasn't like a lot of interaction between Michael and Sam, so I kind of came up with the idea that's like, hey, it'd be nice at least to see if I could squeeze in at least one more interaction with characters. So this was a good opportunity, and also just to show that Sam is actually a person, and she doesn't have like a lot of dialogue within the first arc, so this was like a good opportunity to have her. Interact with Michael a little bit more.
Like we said in the, I think in episode 1 and 2, the Michael and Sam like storyline or whatever is kind of sidelined. Like it's there, but it's not really important. Like okay, it's important, but it's not the most important storyline.
Yeah, so then just
the scene
talking.
Sucks. We can't think of anything to say.
Yeah.
So this
is just some dialogue, just Michael kind of just reflecting on the conversation that he had with Monica and Adrian. And then this is the whole initiation scene.
Oh, the worst scene in this series. It's cringe. I hate to say it. It's cringe. I mean, that could just be me.
Actually, Habalak, I remember, he made his like little drawing.
Oh yeah, I remember
on this scene. Yeah, I always loved seeing like his review posts and see like what he'd come up with. It's just like this is so adorable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate him taking the time out of his day to like.
I mean, this could just be. I hate like just very obvious references to other like animes and that kind of shit. I don't know. That could just be me. I wasn't the writer. I didn't have a say in this, and frankly, I don't think it really like it makes sense. I don't think it's a bad scene because it doesn't make sense. Or I don't think it's a bad scene in general. It's just kind of one of those. It's like, yeah, let's get this shit over with.
Yeah. I mean, there's not like a whole lot of again, I wouldn't say it's like a whole major scene. Again, Michael
it's important to make sure that he is a member. I'd say that's pretty important.
Yeah, and the whole ritual thing is just something I literally just came up with on the fly. Just like, fuck club initiations. So I just came up with that. So
this isn't going with the original DDLC worst mod ever made.
Yeah, so the middle name, when you actually boot up,
yeah, I like how it's not capitalized too.
Michael's canonical middle name is Ultra. Not really.
No, it's mid.
But so we can talk about this here in a second. But yeah, so when you boot up the game for the first time and you enter in your name, like how it is in base DDLC, I thought it'd be kind of like redundant, or like like you name your character and like that be like the MC's name throughout there. Like I wanted the MC to be his own character, which is
pretty much
Michael.
What he is.
So the whole the whole like name your character thing. It's like I wanted to try to find a way to incorporate that. So again, initially we tried to actually take that function out. So like we started the game, it would just like it would just like you wouldn't it wouldn't prompt you to change the character's name or set the character's name. It would just jump right in the story. But we tried to take that function out and it just fucked up the whole game, the whole coding thing. If you want to talk a little bit about that, Joel.
I mean, I talked about this in the first episode, so I'll do very briefly. I tried to do this in my own mod that I was trying to make, and for whatever fucking reason, the game simply the start button is completely grayed out, doesn't work. So you kind of have I'm not sure how that whole thing is connected. I never gave enough of a shit to look, So yeah, we just ended up. Plus, what the fuck? Oh yeah. So plus, it would just make more sense for Michael to have his own name too, considering he's literally not in half of the series. So I think a lot of people will be like, "Hey, why is the main character not here for half of this fucking series?"
Yeah, basically. So eventually, I decided to set it as like, well, okay, because functionally, it's like we have to have this grid. So I decided I just set as a middle name, just like something.
Yeah,
basically.
It's a cool little, not really an Easter egg, but it's still cool.
Yeah. Then again, this is just something I came up with.
Yeah,
like
it's very.
Spaghetto,
I hate worst line of all time.
Big titties. Yeah, that was their whole another Spaghetto thing. Because like I think originally I just had this as like everything from between thick thighs to something else.
Worst line of all time. I hate to say it.
Yeah, it just basically just
Eat the
basically
random
generic
Pocky jump scare.
Generic goofy thing that I just came up with.
We're gonna get fucking sued by Pocky.
I actually bought some back when I did my was on my vacation. I'll probably have some more soon. Actually.
Pockies are good, but
I like Pockies.
yeah,
They're good.
who doesn't like Pockies? It's like Pockies is one of those candies that you're either neutral on or you like. No one hates Pockies. I think Pocky is more in the neutral range, though. I don't know anyone who absolutely loves Pockies. They need their fucking Pocky fix for the day. But yeah.
Like a fucking Pocky addict. That's
Cowboy
just,
Bebop.
That's just interesting to think about. Yeah, I asked Spaghetto. It's like, we need like something for them like to watch, and Spaghetto came, Cowboy.
And not the
Bebop,
terrible
like,
Netflix
reference.
adaptation. I mean, I watched Chainsaw Man. Why the hell was I gonna say Chainsaw Man? I watched Cowboy Bebop after I coded this series. Fun fact. So I had no clue what the fuck a cowboy. I had no clue what the fuck a bebop was.
At the time, I haven't watched it.
It's very good.
Show myself.
I have a T-shirt of it.
It's on my watch list.
I have a T-shirt of Cowboy Bebop.
Again, the amount of anime I have on my watch, like it's like staggering.
This is me, but with video games, dude. It took me 8 months to complete the Yakuza series. Shit.
I'm like that too. Like there's a bunch of games I've been having on the back burner for a while that I just haven't really
Yakuza 0 is number 1 on the priority list. Also,
So I also had them like bring in like their the classic school like like little like the TV like the old classic like 90s TV like on a little card thing like
I like to think Shiro
had a flat screen in his backpack all day.
that'd be really entertaining to see.
It's like the Sam CG with her in the art, but it's Shiro hauling in a fucking 90-inch flat screen.
Yeah. But again, that's just another thing I remember back like whenever like the teacher brought in the TV, like it was gonna be a day.
Yeah, true. God, my school has like all those like really bulky TVs set up. They never use them though. I mean, there's not much of a reason to use them anymore. So I mean, I get it, but still, it's like just fucking sell them, dude. The school makes our parents... Now, this is just a my school thing from what I've heard, but still, it is the scummiest shit of all time. My school makes all of their students pay a student fee to go to this school. Granted, it's only like $11. That is still scummy as fuck, though.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked. Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking student tax, man.
Dude, my school is one of the...
I think my school is like the highest budgeted school in the state too. What the fuck do you need an extra $11,000 for? I think I fucked up on that math. But still, what the fuck do you need all this extra money for, dude? You have so much shit laying around. Plus, you get paid so much in taxes. Like I said, dude, my school's so rich, we get Chromebooks.
Wow.
And we had to pay a technology fee, which, like, I've been using the same Chromebook for, like, a year and a half. My Chromebook isn't broken. Like, I didn't break my Chromebook and had to pay for it. No, we have to pay to use our Chromebooks, too. And my school didn't make me pay last year for a student fee. So I think my grandma had to end up paying, like, $50 out of pocket, because I had to do the two charges, the $22 for this year and last year, because we didn't get paid last year, and then a $30 technology fee. What the fuck? That genuinely pissed me off. It's genuinely scummy as shit for a school to do that. Like I said, my school is rich as shit too.
Taxes, man, taxation theft.
I mean, I don't I can't 100% blame them. This economy is fucked. I'm not even trying to get political. This is just facts. But so I don't 100% blame them. But still, that is scummy as shit.
Joe Biden.
I am Joe Biden. This under my economy, schools will go out of business. Fuck schools. They are a tax scam to begin with. I fully believe that. I fully believe that schools are a tax scam. There is no need for high school.
Anyways.
Yeah, get me out of my political talk before I start talking about Donald Trump.
So this whole scene, like, as well, it's like, just, it was nice to have a scene together with all the anime club characters, with Michael, Shiro, Ruby, and Kayla, just like kind of like the few last times we'll get to see them all together before So yeah, it's also an opportunity for Michael to have like some more one-on-one time with Ruby, especially after what happened with episode 2.
Frankly, I think they've had enough.
and this is like the same stairwell, like
the sex
universe
stairwell.
With the whole which actually I mean Michael.
Oh my god, I forgot about the scene.
Michael getting a little bricked up here.
Why do we do this? Why do you force your quarter? You know, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. I think I've ran out of speech for today.
Do some fan service here and there, man.
They're too much. I know I've been talking about gay shit a lot, but I'm just saying, I'm sure we have some gay viewers out there.
Yeah, this is a very ironic line. I plan to stick around in reference to being around for the anime club.
Yes.
There's sometimes, like, I write lines, like, early on in the episodes where, like, I get the, like, foreshadow, like, so blatant. And I just can't help but, like, laugh to myself as I'm writing the lines. Just like, yeah, the fuck you are gonna stick around. Just me playing God.
Yes, just me being forced to the worst scene of all time.
Yeah, and then this is where Ruby kind of goes into her reputation.
Michael gets stuck with the kids with the worst reputation in the fucking school.
Yeah, that's kind of what I kind of went for. I mean, I think we kind of all end up going for when writing the stories. Like, Michael kind of like if you could think about like how school like kind of has like a social hierarchy. Michael kind of, he's the new kid, so he's at the bottom. And he finds like other people would be at the bottom, like 2 goth girls and a big fat nerd.
What a pair.
Well, it's more like what a trio.
True. I was. Forgive me. My speaking meter is depleted.
Yeah, and like, it was fun to write Ruby. Like, I had a fun time writing Ruby's character a lot. Like, and also like Spale had the input on this line where it's like where Shiro, like, Shiro had a crush on some normie girl. It's just like yeah, that was a spaghetti call, but like I actually I just realized, that's probably something she would say, just like her and Kayla just calling like the basic girls like normies.
I still like how there's a DDLC mod. There is not a single line of poetry said in this mod.
And then there's poet referenced.
No, there we go. There we go. Fine. See,
yeah, and poetry writing actually. So
sure for the writing type. Thank God. He should have joined the literature club. I don't know why he didn't.
Ironic. So yeah, this is where also in this episode Michael learns a lot about Shiro in general, and this is the time where he gets to ask Ruby about Shiro, and this is where Ruby gives her side of things that happen. So this is like allowing the reader to take some information, just try to try to triangulate it for themselves and get a sense of like who is like Shiro truly. Like, is he like an actually nice guy, or is he an actual creep? So
is he a nice guy, or is he a nice guy?
Yeah, like, is he one of those nice people? But yeah, so like episode 3, it's like kind of like again tries to like I'd say like in this arc, it like again it does a very good job of like actually advancing a lot, because episode 1 sets the base, episode 2 was kind of filler, but like episode 3 like it starts to like really advance a lot.
Episode 3 is actually important.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue, of course, every episode is important.
Oh yeah.
And also I want to kind of get into like what like the whole like Shiro poem scandal thing. Like, is it a fan fiction? Is it a poet like poetry thing? So I kind of went back and forth on that on purpose.
All fan fiction is poetry, but not all poetry is fan fiction.
Well, that's actually a good way of putting it. But the idea that I had with that, it was to represent misinformation and just like different accounts of what happened, because everybody has their own different account and different version of
I
events
like how
what happened.
I like how the line says Kai broke into Shiro's binder like there's a fucking lock on it.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that. Like, actually, I remember you made fun of me for it at the time as well.
Yeah, did I?
I believe you did. But yeah, like the idea, like at least what Ruby believes has happened is that Kai like just got into Shiro's binder and took something. Like I realize I probably phrased that very weirdly, but yeah, it's kind of funny just to think that Kai like has like a fucking blowtorch and because like Shiro has like a fucking lock and exchange around his binder, so he just like has like that welding mask and
yes.
it's just like the Mission Impossible music playing as he just like just like kind of just like melts the lock and just like grabs the paper and just, like runs out. No, he like actually gets like extracted from the ceiling.
So Shiro lied to me. He is
this is where Michael. Yeah, and this is where Michael's like again beginning to have some serious doubts about like who Shiro is, because like he at least trusts like Kayla and Ruby to like at least enough to have this conversation. Yeah, so basically that's kind of just this whole scene is here, and then then kind of a bit of an irony about how like talk about like how we shouldn't judge people and all that.
Yes, you
somewhat should. Even though Michael is kind of somewhat judging Shiro here for based on hearsay.
Yes, you shouldn't have lost judgment, or else.
Also, very ironic line, like we live in a society.
I noticed that shit. Fucking John Clue over here.
Yeah, I had a very fun time like writing interaction. Michael, Kayla, and Michael, just like making the chemistry between the characters was always like very fun and very refreshing, very rewarding.
Yes,
as a writer.
Yes. Michael is definitely a real friend to Shiro, by all means.
Yeah, granted, early on as well, like the idea was just that like again, Michael and Shiro would be pretty tight, but again, from the adjustments that we made with Spaghetto early on in the first episode, like Michael, like Shiro early on and like kind of trusts them like to obviously to an extent of like when you just meet someone you think nice and all that,
and then you find out
Michael also has Michael has like Michael keeps like a degree of distance from him.
He keeps a degree from distance from everyone. I don't blame him. If I had to I don't blame him. Shit.
Also now I'm reading this, remember this is the whole mom scene as well.
Oh hell no!
We also have a CG coming up here soon in the scene, but but we'll talk about the whole mom scene in a minute, but so during like kind of like the outro of or like the last act of episode 3, have Michael and Shiro hang out with each other and just Michael like obviously Shiro does obviously know Michael's been asking around about him and like knows like what he knows now that he talked to Ruby to get her side of things and all that. So it's like kind of those things that like you kind of go into is like how are these two characters gonna react? Like has Michael gonna like accuse Shiro of something, or are they just gonna just be chill and hang out? Yeah, originally Sam's quote unquote appearance in this episode was just a CG here. With Under the Oak Tree, which that it's referenced throughout the story. And I mean you see it like when you first boot up the game as well when you get on the selection screen. BG here. So but like this is like kind of like the first time you can at least see it in an art form or like probably like properly within the story. So Storm I believe did this one.
Maybe I feel bad for not remembering all the things.
Yeah, so like originally as well with the CG design, like I was like kind of envisioning that maybe like we see Michael and Shiro like kind of peering through the fences trying to look for Sam, but then I kind of thought about like it'd probably be very challenging to draw and it'd probably look weird, so just like from Michael's point of view to when he sees Sam actually. And then like Shiro teases Michael, it's like, oh, you want to go say hi? And Michael's like, yeah, they're just talking, walking. And obviously Shiro's like trying to like portray himself as a wingman. It's like, hey, if you want to get close to Sam, like I'd be happy to help you. And like, obviously with Michael knows that like, or at least is beginning to suspect like, this guy might be a creep.
All right, Michael. Here's what you do: you write some poetry.
Let him cook.
Let the man cook. I know how to write some really good sex scenes, Michael.
Oh fucking god. Yeah, so this is
oh yes, Gold Lake, aka
this
Piss
is
Lake.
the hangout, the scene.
Isn't this the?
At
Isn't
Michael's
this
place.
the? Didn't we make a fucking Game Boy reference or a D? Ah!
I believe we did. So yeah, so Spaghetto.
Yeah, this was Spaghetto. This is Spaghetto.
Yeah, so
Great
Spaghetto
CV,
had
though.
like at what? Okay, so when we were like talking about like ideas for stuff that we wanted to show off in the story, Spaghetto was pretty adamant that like we lean this whole like big mommy knockers kind of trope with Michael's mom. And again, I wasn't necessarily opposed to it, but I just kind of felt it weird. It's like, I mean, I get it's probably like anime fan service kind of thing, but I was just like, hey, this feels
This episode is
weird.
kind of weirdly fan servicey in some ways.
I mean, like I said, with the with how Spaghetto liked to design, the female characters, like they have big titties or whatever, like
yeah, it's not
basically
surprising.
all that. So
It's a good CG though.
And the CG and the CG shows. I mean, now granted, I love the CG. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
But
Kuta cook.
But like, yeah, besides those cookies, honestly, right now. But
This is true. We are fat asses.
yeah, I believe
We don't know. We just don't know.
I could tell. No,
I think I'm 99% sure it's Kuta.
Yes, I couldn't remember her name off the top of my head. Yeah, I believe Kuta did.
No.
Yeah, actually, I think
Kuta.
I think Kuta did. Actually, I think Kuta did both CG for this episode. But yeah. So the idea here was that like another thing that wedges Michael and Shiro is that Shiro kind of has a weird reaction to Michael's mom now. Because objectively, now don't get me wrong, Michael's mother is very attractive. Don't get me wrong, but Shiro kind of comes on a little too strongly for Michael, and for Michael, that this serves as like kind of confirmation that Shiro's a creep, and that like if all this is true, and he reacts this way, then everything else must be true, kind of approach. So yeah, so this ends up like Shiro. I mean, obviously Shiro doesn't have any like ill intent here. Like he's not gonna try to go cougar hunting, like try to go for the MILF here or anything like that. He's not. Shiro's not trying to do that, but like, I mean, he is like kind of floored that like, whoa, your mom is wow. Like he's not gonna try anything.
Proud to say I've never
like
had any
that,
thoughts like that.
Yeah, same here too.
Proud to say it. Proud to say it. Where's my pat on the back?
But yeah, here's
this
so
shit.
Like, it's just basically like that. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, maybe for somebody who's watching, maybe it's like maybe you or somebody like has like when it's like, dude, your mom is hot or something.
I mean, I make I'm gonna fuck your mom jokes to all my friends.
Yeah,
they fuck with me the wrong way. It will happen. They will have a sibling, but.
Oh god. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, but yeah, like Shiro doesn't like actually view Michael's mom that way. He's not like trying to, and like obviously, he's like, obviously Shiro being socially awkward, he doesn't really know any better here, so he's gonna have like a bit of a strong reaction.
Oh my god, that reminds me of an entire scene that I wrote and was never put in, which was the end credits of the scene.
Yeah. We'll actually talk about that a little bit here in a sec.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole idea for why this scene even exists. So granted, I mean, we were gonna have Michael and Shiro hang out after school ways to have Michael kind of ponder. It's like, how do I really feel about this guy knowing what I know?
Yeah.
And the whole mom thing, which granted, again, it worked out for what it needed to do, but yeah, again, that was like the idea that Spaghetto pitched. That I was just like, why do you want this? Yeah, and so
Wait, where's your dad?
and then this is actually where we get to learn more about Michael's family situation. So yeah, about like how his parents divorced. So he goes. I mean, yeah, he doesn't really say much about it in this moment. I mean, he dives more into it later in the show, but.
And then I'm proud to admit that my dad is dead. Yippee!
Oh god. But yeah, I mean, like it gets brought up here, and it gets a more of a well-deserved look later on in the series.
Yeah. Don't exactly remember where this idea came up from. I think it was just like we were doing playtesting or something, or no, not playtesting. We were reviewing this episode, and then I came up for an idea for the end credit scene. Because I don't think this episode has an end credit scene. right?
No, it does.
It
Every
does?
episode has.
I'm pretty sure the original
actually every episode except for the final arc.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, my original idea for the end credit scene was it's a dream. Shiro is revisiting Michael's house, and Michael has to go take a shit or something, and then Amber comes off really strongly to Shiro, and nothing sexual happens, but that's the joke, is that, and then the joke was that, then Shiro wakes up, and I think it was Shiro's mom wakes him up, and then she's like banging under, like, you're about to be late for school, and then Shiro's like, I'm coming, and then Shiro's mom was like, you're what? Really stupid joke, but I fucking loved it. I mean, I'm sure I still
it was a wet dream. Actually, I remember, I think they were weren't they like at a beach?
No, it was at Michael's house.
I think Spaghetto at one point had the idea that they were on a beach.
Not that I recall. I mean, maybe.
I remember there being a beach involved, but
maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
the one that I wrote, then it wasn't in a beach. The what I wrote wasn't in a beach. It was just at Michael's house.
Yeah, I don't think we just ended up doing that, because I think we ended up going with something else, and plus we didn't I think we were gonna have that the idea called for having a CG, and it's just that
True. To be fair, I mean, I think it's funny as shit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny, again, a one-off thing, but
yeah,
and I know that you said that. I think you suggested that as a joke too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. And then
really wanted that in. Yeah, apparently, yeah, I think also Spaghetto was trying to have the mom be fan favorite or something. Just
she's a good character,
which I didn't mind. Yeah, I mean, Michael's mom, again, I wouldn't say that she's a major character in the story.
She's
but,
she comes in for moral help every now and then.
Yeah, she plays a very important part in Michael's side of the story, which and she fills that role pretty well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Spaghetto was I think, honestly, again, not trying to slam him here, but he kind of had a hard on mom.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for big mommy milkers, but yeah, I
mean, who isn't?
Exactly, but I have my limit.
He really wanted to lean into it, yeah, and there again, some of the ideas, obviously, they were genuinely funny, and I don't think that he had any ill intent, and we incorporated those ideas, but he was very into this character.
I hope it was ironic. I'm pretty sure it was for the most part.
Then this is just them just talking.
Yes, and
all that, nothing serious.
This is around the episode's end. That is the end.
Yeah, this is credits.
No, let's get to that post-credit scene. Yeah.
Which, I gotta be honest, I
don't remember.
Yeah, I think this is just more Michael just reflecting, which actually I think originally I had this before we did the end credit scene. I think this is actually attached to the actual episode.
Maybe.
I decided just to split this.
Like I said, I don't remember.
Now.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't.
I remember it now though. Yeah, so basically it's just a short little micro reflection on things, just to kind of summarize the plot.
And that's the end
of what happened.
Episode 3. Let's see how long this recording was. Well, I'm gonna have to check by the audio, actually, because we split up the recording because we're kind of fucking stupid. Oh boy, an hour and 41. This is, I think this was the shortest. I can't remember.
Well, we're moving in the right direction. So. Alright, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our commentary for episode 3, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Or you don't return, and then we kill you, and then we put you in the mouth of Freddy Fazbear. And Freddy Fazbear, he eats children.